Almost everyone I talk to about retirement says the same thing. But we'll just downsize later if we have to. That sounds practical. It sounds responsible. It sounds like flexibility. For a lot of retirees, it turns out not to be. Not because downsizing is a bad idea, but it becomes much, much harder than people expect once life starts changing. Housing feels different than other retirement decisions. You're not spending more. You're not taking on more debt. You're not changing your lifestyle. You're just staying. The house is familiar. The neighborhood works. And the routine, it feels settled. And most importantly, you think, oh, guess what? The house is our backup plan. That belief makes sense, but housing doesn't behave like any other backup plan. When you decide to stay, you're also deciding to keep maintaining the space, to handle all of the upkeep, to stay tied to that location, and to manage stairs and storage and system. And none of that feels like a choice. It just feels like continuing life, but over time, continuing becomes committing. And commitments get heavier with age, even when nothing goes wrong. Downsizing isn't hard because of the money. It's hard because of energy, coordination, decision fatigue, and just emotion. Selling a home means sorting decades of possessions, making hundreds of small decisions, physical effort, and just the emotional processing of the sale. And quite frankly, those demands come later when you're less likely to have the energy to process them. That's when people realize this wasn't just a financial option, it was a physical and emotional one as well. Most people don't downsize on their own timeline. Usually it's triggered by something else, a fall, a diagnosis, caregiving responsibilities, a spouse's health change. Now the move becomes urgent. Urgency changes decisions. Now you're not making the move calmly, you're having to react. That's when we'll downsize later turns into, wow, we waited too long. No one likes to talk about this because staying feels like being loyal to your past, respectful of memories, and you're so emotionally grounded in where you're at. So, downsizing can feel like loss, even when it's logical. And so the conversation gets delayed again and again until delay becomes default. And by then, the range of choices has significantly narrowed. When retirees say, I didn't know that downsizing would be this hard, they don't mean losing the square footage. They mean how much energy it took, how emotional it felt, and how few good options actually remained. Nothing failed. Life just kept moving. And housing decisions age differently than people expect. You see, that's the part that any retirement plan almost never models. See, a better question earlier wouldn't have been, can we downsize? It would have been, if we needed to move later, how hard would this be for us? Not for the market, okay, for us. See, that question doesn't force action, it forces clarity around your retirement plan. This channel isn't about telling people to sell their homes. It's about noticing when later quietly becomes harder. Monthly spending does it, housing does it, working longer does it. None of these are bad choices. They just last longer than you expect.